Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Drawing Down the Stars. I'm Snappy, and thank you for joining me today, June 12th, for a wonderful live tarot session. This is going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited. So, before we get into it, I just want to give a big shout out to the chat. So, shout out to Hal If I Know. Wow, that's a cute name. Just a heads up, this one's a doozy. The title alone has deeply synchronistic and symbolic overlay. Buckle up. Whoa, ominous. Thanks, Esta, for coming. Hi, Kari. Always beautiful to see you. Shout out to Ruby's Fishing Adventures. Well, thank you guys all for coming in. So if you can, please just give me a couple likes on this video. If you can take that second and hit that like button, it really does make a difference. It impacts the algorithm greatly, and it will help this get seen by more people. And it's just good karma. It's a good way to give back to the channel in such a small way. I really appreciate it. And if you are, by any chance, interested in having a private reading, if you look in the description below, you'll find my email, snappydds@gmail.com. Send me an email and we can discuss. So today is a really interesting day in terms of meditation and astrology and everything. So when I was thinking about doing this reading, I was getting this really strong energy of the moon, like really intense energy of the moon, and just that goddess energy, this intuitive energy, dream energy. Like there needed to be this deep connection, right? And you can see that from the title that I chose, this idea of opening the gate and drawing down the moon, really connecting to that spirit, that Artemis, Diana, Selene, And it's interesting is when I looked at the astrology this morning, sure enough, the moon had moved into Virgo. And Virgo is my ascendant sign as well as my sun sign. I have the most placements in Virgo. So I totally feel this energy. And this is a time to really be in that kind of reflective stage. Virgo and the moon just go so well together. Artemis is that divine virgin, right? And we need to connect with this energy at this time. This is a time for deep intuition, to follow our dreams. So go out under the stars and just be in that presence of the night sky and look to the moon. Look to the moon, look to your intuition, look to your dreams, trust in your intuition, right? And really reflect upon it, be in it. Virgo is also that hermit energy for the tarot. And the hermit is always about going into that cave to reflect upon things and to really connect with that energy in a deep, profound way. If you want to have intuition, if you want to have this goddess energy in your life, you have to go out under the stars and you got to just be in it. It's that simple. All right. So I want to give a shout out here to Beatnik Balba, to Mother Rhea, to Neat Cosmas, thanks for coming, guys. To Fandom Cosplay, good evening. Good to see you here. So the other big stuff for our astrology is what we've been feeling for the last several days. It's this intense Gemini energy, right? So much intense Gemini. So we got still Gemini in Mercury, Gemini in Venus, right? We have Gemini in Jupiter, Gemini in Sun. Just this overwhelming, communicative, intelligent energy, transformative energy about exploring multiple perspectives, new positions, about engaging in communication and community with others, about really embracing this in so many different aspects of your life. Now is the time for learning and for growth, and it's growth through others, working with others, learning new perspectives and taking new things on. So let's give another shout out here to Modema Rose. Thanks for coming. To John P. Ryan. Great to see you. And to Occult Examiner. Always lovely to see you. Great. Thank you guys for coming. So that's kind of the astrology energy and the meditative energy that I had for the day. It's this deep Gemini still that we need to contend with, that we need to be in this space of just learning and communication. But also the shift in the moon is really intense. Especially for me personally, because Moon in Virgo, this is about that deep, deep reflection, about really doing the hard work of trying to understand and know yourself. In the moon, this is in your dreams. It's in that feminine aspect. We all need to take the time and really connect with that part of ourselves. right? Big shout out also to Zach. Zachus, good to see you. Thanks for coming. All right, so we're going to start today with our sortes. So for those of you who are new and unfamiliar, the sortes is a form of bibliomancy, that is divination via literature. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip at random through this book and then choose a phrase. Now, I had some questions in the last tarot reading about how this works and how you prevent, always just going to the middle and such. And generally, there are different techniques when you're flipping. You try to somewhat trust your intuition and know where to go, where it's like, I aim for the beginning, I aim for the middle, I aim for the end, and I change it up each time. And when I look at a page, I separate the pages into quadrants, and I usually will read a bit until something connects deeply. Every person has their own way of doing the sortes, and it's really up to you. Whatever works. Don't overthink these things. And remember, the sortes is always about just that divine inspiration, drawing down the muses, asking them to guide your hand, and allowing your vision to just inspire you, right? It doesn't need to be a book. It doesn't need to be you can just look around and see something, and that can be your divine message, right? This is just a fun way to do it. So let's see. Muses, guide our hand. What do we need to know? How do we best move forward? We're going to ask Edgar Allan Poe today. So let's see. What does Poe have for us? They may be defined as the gentlemen who live by their wits. They may be defined as the gentlemen who live by their wits. Wow. I love this. I love this so much, right? This is about being respectable, about being that kind person, that authoritative person, but also living by your wits, by your wisdom, trusting in reason, right? Reason, energy, reason above all, right? Even though I'm talking intuition and divination, it needs to be always applied through that lens of reason. Otherwise, it doesn't work. You must live by this wit and wisdom. And you develop that through experience. All right. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful energy. Thank you, Poe. Let us continue. We're going to go to Lord Byron, one of my favorite poets of all time, and a really interesting energy. So let's ask the muses, guide my hand, send us a message. What do we need to know? What can we learn from Byron? How do we best move forward? Okay. Wow. Okay. On Suli's rock and Parga's shore exists the remnant of a line such as the Doric mothers bore. And there perhaps some seed is sown the Heraclitean blood might own. Wow. I'm going to read this whole passage here. This is wild. This is from Don Juan, Canto 3, line 13. Fill high the bowl with Samian wine. On Sully's rock and Parga's shore exists the remnant of a line, such as the Doric mothers bore, and there perhaps some seed is sown the Heraclitean blood might own. Oh, wow, Byron. There's some interesting magic going on there, right? We have the invocation of wine, Dionysian magic. We have the rock and the shore. We're getting Aphrodite and the Great Mother. We have this understanding of this magical lineage, this connection to that divine Zeus through the blood that persists there, right? The Heraclitean blood might own, it might return. I feel like this is a deep reminder to connect to that mother line, to connect to those ancient roots, and to remember this kind of, we're all related in a sense. And the ancestor magic is beautiful, powerful magic. There's so much in the blood. And if you can confront with the ancestors and you can heal those wounds, especially the recent ones, if you can love them and you can grow and you can go even further back, so much profound learning and magical growth is possible. You know, the ancestors are the closest spirits to us. And all this deity worship in its essence is ancestor worship. It all goes back to that, to the dead, you know, and to being connected to them and to the past, right? Wow. And connecting through the mother lineage, right? This is magic. Heraclitean blood. Whoa. Thanks, Byron. Interesting. Things to think on. Let us continue. We're going to go to the 10 plays by Euripides, right? One of the greatest playwrights of the Greek world, master tragedian. All right. Euripides, muses, guide our hand. What do we need to know? How do we best move forward? In what way? Wow. See, I am silent. I shut my mouth. See, I am silent. I shut my mouth. Oh, wow, that's interesting. Sometimes it's really important to see, right? And to be in that state of silence and to be seen as being silent, a silent observer. This is a really powerful place to be in that position of the observer, the one who doesn't cast judgment, who doesn't try to describe or color the situation, who observes, who shuts their mouth, closes off that speech. You know, sometimes we need to be silent, to not cast judgment, to not voice our opinion, but to learn to listen and to humble ourselves in the brilliance of others, right? We all have something to learn. And people always have some brilliance to share. And you can't hear it if you're not silent. And you want people to see you as listening. You want them to see you being silent and respecting their time to speak, right? This is a deeply respectful thing, right? We had an earlier message about being the gentleman. That is part of being a gentleman, is learning to listen. And this is a deeply profound thing I find with a lot of this feminine magic in the muse. People ask me, well, how do you connect to the muse? Well, you have to learn to listen. You have to listen to the wind. You have to hear her voice, right? You can't hear her voice if you can't shut your mouth. All right. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Let us continue. We're going to go to Watch Fiends and Rack Screams by the great playwright and magician, Antonin Artaud. All right, Artaud. Muses, guide our hand. What is the message? What do we need to know? What do we need to learn? How do we move forward in the best way? Okay. Wow. I just drew to a page that says, in really bold letters, I don't know if you can see this, it just says, the human face. The human face. Okay. The gaze is where the power of the muse rests. There's a lot written about this. Anyone who's deeply into classics will understand this, especially if you look at some of the amazing Roman literature, like the Argonautica. So much is said about the face and the gaze, right, of Medea, of the muse, of Helen, right? There's so much power in the human face, in that perception of that other, of that beauty, the ops, right? You have goddesses like Asterope, the starry-faced, right? So much intensity. The muse must be perceived, right? And her face is human. It's feminine. And it is something that can be gazed upon and be transformed by, right? There's always about gazing into the eyes of the muse and recognizing the features. Poe in Ligeia talks about this at length. You can't remember Ligeia much at all except for her eyes and the strangeness of her face. But that sustains him and drives him wild, you know? The human face is the muse. Okay. Wow. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Let us continue. We're going to go to my men Goethe and Faust, right? Goethe, one of the greatest writers of all time, one of the most brilliant people who ever lived, a true Renaissance man. Muse, guide our hand. What do we need to know? How do we best move forward? 'Twill send a glow of joy through all your frame. 'Twill send a glow of joy through all your frame. What call yourself the devil's intimate, yet flinch before the flicker of a flame? Wow. 'Twill send a glow of joy through all your frame. What call yourself the devil's intimate, yet flinch before the flicker of a flame? Wow, this is connecting to that spirit of joy, that profound passion, that eros, right? There's a lot of this stuff with demonic magic and connection to that erotic energy, to that incubus and succubus, to that really intense, fiery, passionate magic, right? 'Twill send a glow of joy through all your frame. If we connect this to the line before, where we were looking at the human face as the muse, what does the human face do when you gaze upon it? 'Twill send a glow of joy through all your frame. And this is how you will recognize the face of the muse and who you're meant to be inspired by. Really important thing with the muse is, like, people are asking me, what is the muse? Who's the muse? How does this work? Okay, there are many muses. There are the traditional 12 muses. There are the Titanic muses. There is the Titan memory herself, right? There is the personal muse, the holy daimon, right? And then there's also that which inspires, that has the quality of the muse. People in everyday life can be the muse for periods of time. Images can be the muse and can inspire you. You can see this energy and engage with it in every way, shape, or form, right? Okay, let us continue. So before we get into the tarot proper, we're going to go to our fairy deck for some simple, just, fairy guidance. I've always loved the Celtic pantheon. I've connected to it deeply since I was a child, and these cards were a gift, and gifts are magic. All right, let us ask, fairies, what do we need to know? How do we best move forward? All right. Okay, protect your dreams. This is really interesting energy, especially when you're talking about fairies and such. You are the guardian of your precious dreams, and they are safe in your care. Keep them close to your heart until you are ready to release them. There's something about engaging with the dream and being in that safe space and recognizing as a safe space. Part of protecting your dreams is keeping intruders out, number one. Learning how to embody within the dream. One of the first things anyone who engages with dream work will have to learn is how to send things away that are scary, how to change where you are in a dream, how to wake up within a dream, right? All of this is possible, and you can develop this kind of skill to protect yourself and use your dreams to your advantage. It's all through that meditative, lucid dreaming type work. It requires a lot of patience and a lot of practice. And you'll probably confront the fairies in your dreams. I've talked to many people. I've had these experiences myself that offer you drinks and they offer you food. It's up to you if you want to take them. Most people will tell you not to, but I've known many a person who's indulged, and life is wild. Where do you want to go? What is your path? Make up that decision for yourself. All right. We're now going to go to the tarot proper. So I always love to use the Thoth deck of Lady Frida Harris and Aleister Crowley. It's a beautiful deck. I believe it's truly inspired, and I really like it. People are asking me why I like it so much. My biggest reason is the art and the fact that it reconceptualizes itself back to a more pagan understanding, right? Yeah. what I love about it. So we're going to do a Saturn square, which is we're going to invoke that energy of Saturn. We're going to examine our life. We're going to put it all flat out on a plate. And we're going to look at the conflicts. We're going to look at where we need to grow, what we need to learn, and how we best move forward. So we're going to cut our card in 3. And our first card is our center card, the most important card of our square. Wow. Interesting energy to have at the center of your square. Disappointment. Disappointment. So this is about unfulfilling relationships, loss of love, maybe relationships in your life that are selfish, right? If you look at this energy here, you see that there's not a reciprocal flow, right? There's no water going between these cups, and the cups appear even bone dry, and even the landscape appears bone dry, right? And this is because there is a deep loss here. There is an imbalance, you know. This is not a loving, shared, reciprocal connection. And there is a deep sadness about this, because what I'm seeing here is that this energy of the cups, we're showing up in this giving energy, this loving energy where we want to share, you know. And when you share, you want to then receive, right? Things should flow in that mutual exchange of love, right? To give love is to receive love, is how it's supposed to work, right? But sometimes there are toxic energies that do not give, they take. And this is something that's deeply disappointing, especially if it's something connected to our lives, like children or friends, people who abuse us and take advantage, but we love them anyway, you know? It's such a hard energy. So really, those of us who are going through this, think on this energy, think on your children, think on your mothers, think on your close friends, and look for that kind of selfishness and how you can confront it. Because this is not a good energy, and it will lead to anger. It will lead to resentment. Let's see where this is going. Okay. Interesting. On the right, we have this truce energy. So there's a deep acceptance about this disappointment. There's an understanding. You know, what I'm seeing here is that there's a recognition that this person is selfish, but you love them anyway. You love them anyway. And so you allow them to take, or you allow them to run, and there's nothing you can do but be disappointed. You know, so you're at peace with it, but there's still that deep emotional ache. All right. Yeah, this is a loss. This is a deep loss. This is a relationship that has ended, right? And this is a new cycle that's going to begin, right? And with death and transformation, it's always intense, you know? So I'm seeing things like this could be, you know, the ending of a relationship, like a lover, a breakup. It could also be a child leaving home, okay? And growing up and being an adult, and you no longer being responsible. It's this deep energy of this emotional disappointment, of someone showing up in that negative energy. And I'm getting a feeling, for some of you, it's going to be a partner, and for some of you, it will be a child. All right, let's continue. Yeah, we have this deep, profound energy of love coming in. Interesting. So there's still this loving energy, and there's this hope, and it's connected right to that disappointment. So yeah, we're in this truth energy, and we're accepting this person in spite of their faults, and we're letting them go. We're letting them go. We're letting them move on. We are at peace with it, and we are okay. We're still in this state of love. Let's see what's happening on the other side. Wow, this is really intense energy. Yeah. Showing up as that Queen of Cups, that profound watery queen, you know, that mother who gives love, who wants to be that emotional shoulder to cry on, who wants to be that support for people around her, who is that support, right? Showing up in that state of the lovers, this is that, whoa, this is the person with that cup of that's seemingly unending. These are the deep feminine love of the mother to her child that just seems to be never ending, ceaseless, you know? Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Let's go. Yeah. There's also this deep emotional connection to work, right? So this lover's energy is also showing up, this queen of, and there's emotional attachment to work. So what I'm seeing here is that this disappointment, part of the reason why we're able to overcome it is because of this deep emotional reward we receive from the work we do and this love we have for the work that we are engaged in. So really interesting energy here, right? Again, there's this Queen of Cups energy, that emotional person who cares and supports those around her, who builds up and works. I'm seeing someone who's kind of like a community mother here, that energy, right? Who really is supporting and building, and it's that foundational energy, right? Mother bear who takes care of everyone, though sometimes people don't even see it, you know? Let's continue. Wow. On the bottom row, we got Lady Babylon herself and that lust energy, that strength energy. This is flipping the poles, right? Though drawing down the stars, manifesting your desire, having the strength and power to transform your reality. Ooh, connected to that disappointment into the lovers, right? There's a long-term fixation here. There's not a giving up of this disappointing energy. There is a recognition that this person who is moving away, who's taking advantage and being selfish, there's a lesson that needs to be learned. We're showing up as this profound goddess energy, right? This moral justice who's protecting ourselves and who's playing the long game. This is that energy of, you recognize that this person is immature and foolish and is hurting themselves, and you're letting them go. And you're going to be here with love and power when they return. And you won't forget, you'll hold them to account, you know. But this is being in that strength, being in that strong energy of, no, I'm not going to be taken advantage, right? No, I may be disappointed, but you know, I have a different game here. You go learn your lesson, you do your immature shit. And when you're over this and you recognize that I have that energy of love, I have that energy of support, you will come back and ask for it, right? Interesting. Let's continue. Yeah. Priestess energy, playing behind the scenes, right? That energy of that profound feminine that's working in the subconscious, that's trusting intuition, that's going with the flow, that has this divine plan that's unfolding subtly, working through others. So yeah, this is just, I'm seeing here, there's probably even a deep connection to this person, even though they left. You're watching them. You know what's going on. You know, you're still connected to this energy. You can't not be connected to this energy of this person. It's a kind of a karmic bond here, but you are in this profound feminine mode of love and forgiveness and growth. And you don't have time for people who can't meet you there. But if they can meet you here, you'll accept them with loving open arms. Yeah. That disappointing energy, we found the culprit. We found the culprit. Okay? This is young, childish, selfish energy. This is someone who's acting out of passion, desire, and recklessness, who's just going out to fulfill their will. This is, yeah. And you know what? With this kind of person, you got to go let them burn themselves out. Oftentimes, young people who show up in this immature way, they really need to do a lot of growth. They really need to, you know, some people, they learn when someone tells them. They say, you know, if you stick your hand in the fire, it's going to burn you. Some people need to literally stick their hand in the fire, or they don't get it. This is that person, that stubborn energy, which is like, I know what I want, I know what I love, and I'm going to pursue this love, even though everyone's telling me it's going to burn me. And they need to get burned. They need to get burned. And all you can do is wait and receive with loving open arms when that energy returns, you know? But don't forget, hold it to account as well, right? So now we're going to look at the top-down connections and the cross. So let's see here. You can see all of the energy unfolding. So we'll start with this row here. Our truce again, right? And this is interesting. It's a truce between this priestess energy and this loving energy of the watery mother, that queen. Wow, these are such complementary energies, you know, in some ways. And what we see here is just this, and really embodying that feminine and embodying that motherly energy, that energy of the feminine energy works in a subtle way. It works through people. It's a loving, open embrace, right? The feminine energy's approach is to say, come in, right? Look how I will forgive you. Look how I am okay. Look how much I love, right? It works through others and it asks you to come and meet her. Whereas that masculine energy is about going out and taking and about transforming. They both have their roles to play, both have their good and bad. This is telling you, though, to be in that feminine energy, to be in this intuitive space, to connect to that moon, to connect to your emotions, and to really think about it and to come to this truce. Because there is a way to see this clearly and to understand this, to see this as a cycle, right? This disappointment, this energy, this Five of Cups is not permanent. It's not staying, you know? Let's continue down now to the center. So we had that, again, this Five of Cups, the disappointment connected to lust and to the lovers, right? So this is just about us being in that profound strength and that power, again, bringing down that loving energy of transformation and not allowing this person to be selfish with us. So on one hand, it's putting your foot down and saying, and drawing a line and holding your boundaries. But on the other hand, it's saying, if you meet me where I need you to meet me, you will have all the love in the world. You'll have all the love in the world, right? Like, this is such mom energy that I'm getting. This is that mother who's like, you know what? You need to get a job if you want to live in my house. But if you get a job and you contribute just a little bit, you can do whatever the hell you want. But that hard line is you need this effing job. So that's that energy, you know, you need to be that force who says, that tough love, right? I will always love you, but I need to hold you to account. You can't be in this disappointing energy of selfishness. It's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair, right? You're too powerful. You got too much strength, too much love to give for this, you know? So let's continue. We see this death energy, right? What I'm seeing here is that a lot of this is, there's a shift in you and there's a shift in this energy, this immature energy. And it's related to work, right? If we remember from the top, we had that love and we have the queen energy connected to this work. So there is this deep, profound love and rewarding emotional energy that is coming from this work that we're engaged in, right? We love this job. We are finding our place. We're feeling fulfilled, right? But there is this immature energy. What I'm seeing is this immature energy wants attention, right? It wants, you know, it wants you. And you were in this mode of work, right? You did not have the attention to give, right? It's not that you didn't love. The love is clear and it's abundant everywhere here. But you were in a practical mode and this person was not having it. They're showing up in that immature energy and they're telling you, well, if you're going to be in work, then I'm getting the F out of Dodge. I'm getting out of here, right? But death is not the end. This is a cycle. This is a deep transformation. What I'm seeing here is that when this energy returns, it will not be the prince anymore. It'll either be the queen or the knight. There's going to be a serious upgrade, but it's an upgrade that has to be learned through experience. This prince has to go through their own death. They've got to burn themselves and learn the hard way, you know? And this is so difficult for anyone embodying this kind of mother energy, right? Let's do the crosses. So, yeah, When I'm connecting in the first cross, we have this high priestess energy, that disappointment energy, and that work energy. So this fixation on work, this building of the work, and this embodying of this priestess role, right? The priestess is someone who actively engages her community, who works with others, who builds up others, who is that foundational role, right? So this is deeply connected to work. The priestess is active. She is in that flow. She is constantly producing, right? She is a creatrix. So when I'm seeing this disappointing energy coming in, it's like that energy can't be selfish if you're working. It can't take from you if you're working, and that is a problem for it. And when we look the other way, it's really clear. We have that energy of this immature knight connected to this disappointment and connected to the Queen of Cups, this loving mother who just wants to be there to give love, and this person just keeps taking it. Just keeps taking it, and it's always being disappointing. So this queen, even though you're going to stay in this loving energy, now is the time to embody this. You got to be that stronger, powerful goddess. You got to be this high priestess, the one who plays the long game, who stops feeding into this BS now, cuts them off now, so that when they do show up after this death, they can show up correct and mature, right? This is really that energy of letting someone go who you were responsible for, either a lover or a partner, and then them showing back up in a new, better way, right? Or a child. More so, like, definitely this kind of child energy too, right? Like, I'm feeling this thing like, when with parents, there eventually comes a time when they're no longer your responsibility and they're not your child. And then it's a whole death experience for the parent, right? How do you learn to be okay with your child making mistakes for themselves? How do you let them take responsibility? How do you adapt to this new role, right? Of the mother of distance, or the father of distance. Right? There's a lot of transition that happens when children grow up and become adults, and it's really hard, especially for this feminine energy, because the feminine energy, more than any energy, is responsible, right? So how do you move from responsibility to allowing this person to take their life in their own hands? It requires this deep, profound upgrade, that priestess, this maturity, and this strength to go through with it, to flip the poles and to persist through these changes. Okay. Wow. Beautiful energy, everyone. Beautiful, beautiful energy. Okay. So, wow. I hope that resonates with you guys. Think on that energy. Think on how it could be impacting you. I'm telling one story. There are always many ways that you can see it. And however the cards inspire you and however these words inspire you is how it's meant to be heard, right? So I'm just getting the sense this is so much about learning to really connect with the divine feminine, to be in this place, in this strength, and being sure of oneself, to not to make sure that we're not being taken advantage of, to be in that power, to upgrade, to, right? The feminine energy, it gives, but it doesn't have to be, it can't, it's there is a strength that comes to, right? There is a profound power here, and that aspect needs to be engaged with, right? That we have that loving energy of the Queen of Cups from the day before. Now we're seeing this profound energy of lust, of strength. That's where we need to go. All right. So thank you guys so much. So we're just going to do one final little sortaste to end our reading for today. So I think I'm going to go to Euripides. I'm feeling Euripides today. All right. Let us see. Muses, guide my hand. Show us, what message should we take away from all of this? How do we best move forward? How do we evolve and transform and flow? Right? Friends, shall we mention these things plainly in our mistress's ear? Shall we tell her that the husband who was her all in all, with whom she shared her hopes, poor woman. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Does this ever connect to this disappointment energy we've been seeing here? Friends, shall we mention these things plainly in our mistress's ear? Shall we tell her that the husband who was her all in all, with whom she shared her hopes, dot, 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 poor woman. This is a message to us also as a community, right? We are aware of this disappointment energy in others. And sometimes people need to be told what's going on actually, right? Sometimes people are in so much in love. They're so deeply connected that they cannot really see how they're being taken advantage of. You know, so this is a reminder to look to see where you're being taken advantage potentially and to focus on others who could be, right? We're showing up here as this feminine loving energy, and there is this player energy, someone who's taking advantage. Wow. There are always good quality men out there, Starlight. They will come for sure. But you know, the men have to do the hard work of upgrading. That's the thing. You know, they gotta you know, just trust in your muse, trust in yourself, and you will connect to beautiful people. I've met so many incredible people through here, and I will always continue to meet incredible more. So thank you all for tuning in. This has been an amazing reading. I hope it resonated with you. This one was a bit heavy, right? Pay attention to those selfish energies in your life. Don't let them take advantage of you, right? You got to be that strong Lady Babylon at times. You know, you got to know when to cut people out. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. And also go out under the stars, draw down the moon, connect to the divine feminine, become the priestess. All right. Much love. Take care.